Part 9. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 81. Although the price of silver is very cheap, more than 10 yuan per gram, but based on the workmanship and quality of this bracelet, it costs at least 200 to 300 yuan. As an ordinary classmate, this gift is not considered light. She said to Xiao Xiao, Cheng Xiang, thank you. I like the bracelet very much. Then everyone else on the table also took out their gifts. Shen Mengting gave her a cartoon pillow, the other two female classmates gave her trinkets, brooches, and pendants, and Shen Yu gave her an exquisite music box. The prices of the gifts are not too high either, the cheaper ones are dozens of yuan, the more expensive ones are only a few hundred yuan, they are all within the range of normal courtesy exchanges between classmates. In the end, only Li Jie and Xueziki were left without gifts. Lu Kaiyu first turned her attention to Li Jie and asked with a smile, Great talent, where is your gift? You didn't really come empty-handed, right? Li Jie smiled and joked, How dare I come here empty-handed and eat your meal for free, I'm afraid you will be remembered as a 4-year college student. He was actually very annoyed with Lu Kaiyu, who was a great talent, but he didn't show it. Here, it's for you. Li Jie took out a small blue gift box from his pocket and handed it to Lu Kaiyu. Lu Kaiyu took it with a smile, opened it and took it out to take a look, and found an exquisite and small red string gold gourd pendant. Cheng Xiang said on the side, Li Jie can do it. He is indeed the richest man in our class. He is so proud to give gold directly. Lu Kaiyu hesitated a little and said, Li Jie, your gift is a bit expensive. A female classmate who was arrogant said with a smile, Xiao Yu, just accept it. Li Jie gives his girlfriend a gift of 100,000 yuan at a time. This small gift is nothing. We think it is precious, but to others it might look like a small gift worth tens of dollars. Her tone was sour. Well, the gift this girl just gave was also a pendant. Of course, Li Jie would not argue with a little girl. He smiled and said to Lu Kaiyu, this female classmate is right. It's just a small gift. Just accept it. Shen Yu said with a smile, gourd and fulu are homophonic, so gourd means a happy and happy life. It can be seen that Li Jie chose the gift carefully. Kaiyu, this is someone else's intention, just accept it, come on. If you think it's valuable, just wait until Li Jie's birthday and choose a gift for Li Jie carefully. Okay, then I'll accept it, Lu Kaiyu smiled and nodded. Li Jie, thank you. I really like this gift. Classmate Li Jie comes from a good family. Xueziki looked at Li Jie with a little more interest and asked with a smile. Li Jie glanced at him and said flatly, it's not bad. The senior's family background is not bad, right? Xueziki's clothes are all branded products, and her temperament doesn't look like someone from an ordinary working-class family. Li Jie didn't want to say more, but the two female classmates at the table were very eager to express themselves. You said something, I said something, and they briefly talked about Li Jie and Xiao Qiao. After hearing this, Xueziki smiled and said, it seems that classmate Li Jie is really good to his girlfriend, but I personally think that relationships in student days should not involve too much money. After all, we are still in school, and we are still in school. I don't make any money myself, I just spend my parents' money. He paused and then said, although my family is okay, I haven't taken care of my family's living expenses since my freshman year. All the money I spent was earned from working. Young people in Europe and the United States are very independent. Leaving home and living independently is something we should learn from. We young people should also work hard and start our own careers instead of relying solely on our families. In this era, the internet is not yet developed enough, and the chicken soup for the soul promoted by many European and American people is so popular that many people really believe that the moon in foreign countries is rounder than that in China, and that the character and quality of European and American people are more noble. At least Xueziki's high-profile remarks won the confidence of the girls present. But Li Jie only wanted to send 2 words to Shweziki, haha. Do young people in Europe and the United States all move out of home and live independently at the age of 18? I'm afraid I don't even know that I am so awesome. The reality revealed in later generations is that young people in Europe and the United States are growing older and are not willing to lag behind others at all. Given the high level of tuition fees in European and American universities, if young people have to rely entirely on working to earn tuition fees, their student loans will really take them a lifetime to pay off. The black president lasted 21 years. It really makes young people lose at the starting line. As for the moral character and quality of European and American people who are more noble, the descendants of a group of robbers and executioners, who have become rich through bloody primitive accumulation, become rich, put on the coat of a gentleman, and really become a gentleman? The so-called high quality of European and American citizens can be said to be most vividly reflected in the disaster more than 10 years later. I am not good at fighting disasters and providing epidemic relief, so I put myself first. However, Li Jie was not in a hurry to argue with the other party, he just smiled and said nothing. At this time, Shen Yu changed the topic and said to Shweziki with a smile, "Brother Shwe, everyone else's gifts have been given. Where is your gift? You, the leading actor, should also take out your gifts quickly. Don't let us Kai wait in a hurry." Her attitude was obviously intended to bring Shweziki and Lu Kai together. Shweziki smiled and took out a small red gift box from the inner pocket of her suit, then opened the box, revealing a pair of exquisite and beautiful diamond earrings inside. Wow! These are diamond earrings. Brother Shwe, you are so thoughtful and romantic, a female classmate immediately said with envy. Li Jie also took a look at the earrings and found that the diamonds on them were smaller than the diamonds on the diamond ring he looked at yesterday, which was a 10-point diamond and 0.1 carat. He remembered again what a celebrity said, diamonds of 1 carat or less are all broken diamonds and are worthless. If you buy this pair of earrings at the counter, they will cost 1 or 2,000 yuan, but if you want to sell them, it will be difficult to sell them for 600 to 700 yuan. Caillou, I saw that you still lack a pair of suitable earrings for your ears, so I took the initiative to buy you a pair. How about you try them on, Shweziki said with a bright smile. Lu Caillou obviously has a good impression of Shweziki. The price of this pair of earrings is much more expensive than the golden gourd pendant given by Li Jie, but she did not refuse at all and just said thank you before accepting it. Come over. Then I put the earrings on my ears. The girls present all praised her, saying that the earrings suited Lu Caillou very well and that she looked even more beautiful after wearing them. Cheng Xiang glanced at the earrings on Lu Caillou's ears, and his mood became obviously decadent. After giving the gifts, the atmosphere at the dinner table became more lively. The girls talked about topics of interest, and Shweziki even talked more eloquently, giving certain opinions on any topic. Only Li Jie and Cheng Xiang were silent. Still asking for votes, and skirt number 600369020, interested book friends can add it. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 82. Li Jie just watched with indifference, only eating the food and not talking much, while Cheng Xiang simply drank alone. It can be seen that Cheng Xiang is different from Wang's Haiheng. He really likes Lu Caillou. But what's the use? Licking the dog, licking the dog, licking until there is nothing left. Senior, where are you from? Li Jie suddenly spoke and asked Shweziki in a casual tone. Shweziki glanced at Li Jie and said, I'm from Luanzhou. In fact, Li Jie knew that Shweziki was from Luanzhou, because his mother was from Luanzhou, and he recognized the Luanzhou accent as soon as he heard it. He knew it. Senior, you are currently interning at a law firm. Do you get any subsidies? The subsidy for our interns is not much, only 400 to 500 yuan a month. What I value most is the opportunity to learn from my seniors. It doesn't matter if the money is more or less. Senior, I heard that lawyers earn very high salaries, and a senior lawyer's consulting fee for 1 hour is thousands. Is this true? What you said, Junior, is too exaggerated. The income of senior lawyers is indeed considerable, but the income of new lawyers is only 2 to 3,000 yuan a month, and it is not easy to get ahead. Many people have been working for 7 or 8 years. I am still just an ordinary lawyer, but I am confident that within 3 to 5 years. Senior, where are you going to develop after graduation? Maybe go back to Shanghai or Beijing. After all, first-tier cities have higher wages and greater development prospects. Junior, what do you want to ask? Just ask directly. Seeing that Li Jie kept rambling, Shwezuki became a little impatient. Li Jie glanced at Shwezuki, smiled and said calmly, Senior, I think you must be nicer to your future girlfriend. Junior, what do you mean by this? Although Shwezuki was still smiling, her tone was no longer gentle. Senior, you want to go to Shanghai or Beijing to develop, but if you want to live with your girlfriend, you have to have a house, right? And the current evaluated house price in Shanghai and Beijing is already 1231 square meters. To buy a house of about 100 square meters in a better location, it would cost at least 15.6 million, right? Let's calculate it as 1.6 million, with a down payment of 30%, which would be 480,000. Senior, you just said that you don't rely on your family and have to work hard on your own. How long will it take for you to save enough for this down payment? Even if you make it in 3 to 5 years and become a well-known lawyer, with a monthly income of over 10,000, excluding rent and daily expenses, you can save 5 to 6,000 a month, 6 to 70,000 a year, and it will take at least 6 or 7 years to save up to 480,000. And after you buy the house, you still need to renovate it, pay off the mortgage, buy a car, and get married in the future. Senior, you will have a lot of struggle. Senior, think about it, should you be nicer to a girl who is willing to work hard with you for 7 or 8 years, or even longer? Senior, after many years you become a barrister and become famous, you can't be like some men and just think that your girlfriend who has been with you for many years is old and no longer worthy of you, so you can dump her and find a new one. A young, beautiful girl would really become Chen Shimei. Although Li Jie said the last part in a joking tone, there was no smile on his face at all. Didn't Shwezuki sing a high profile with him? Li Jie revealed the bloody reality to Shwezuki and all the girls present. Li Jie originally had neither a good impression nor a bad opinion of Shwezuki, but what bothered him the most was when someone pointed fingers at him with an inexplicable sense of superiority. He's just an ordinary graduate student from a second-rate university, but he really thinks of himself as an elite. Since the opponent uses him to gain presence first, don't blame him for slapping him in the face in turn. The dinner table was quiet, and no one spoke for a while. Shwezuki's face was a little ugly. He didn't expect that Li Jie, a freshman, would be so bold and dare to contradict him like this. Li Jie smiled and continued, actually, I admire my senior's ability and fighting spirit. He strives to pursue his goals and create his own wonderful life. But I just don't have the ability, so I can only rely on my family. It's really miserable to think about it. If you haven't experienced the hardships of hard work, how can you appreciate the sweetness of life? On this point, I really envy you. Cheng Xiang couldn't help laughing. He was so impressed by Li Jie's words, he said it so damn well. Seeing Shwezuki's ugly face, Cheng Xiang felt so happy that the previous depression was gone. Seeing everyone looking at him, Cheng Xiang explained with a smile, I listened to Li Jie's words and realized that I was in a miserable situation. I have 3 apartments at home, my parents live in one apartment, and there are 2 empty apartments. My mother said that the remaining 2 houses were reserved for me to get married. My father also said that he would find someone to arrange a job for me as soon as I graduate. Thinking that everything for me has been arranged by my family, I feel that life is boring. To die. To be honest, I envy those young people from Beijing. At least they have goals and work hard towards them, unlike me who can only hang around and wait to die. What Cheng Xiang said was more Versailles than what Li Jie said. After listening to Li Jie's words, Cheng Xiang understood that there was no need for him to compete with Shwezeki in terms of knowledge and maturity. The other party was 4 or 5 years older than him and had already had half a foot in society. The competition itself was unfair. He should showing your strengths, Beijing household registration, having a house at home are relevant, these are things Shwezeki can't compare with. In the past, Cheng Xiang always felt that it was a bit incompetent to talk about family wealth. But now she has found a sense of superiority. Shwezeki had to struggle for 7 or 8 years to get a loan to buy a house in the capital. However, his family has 3 houses and they can't live in them. Shen Yu stood up to smooth things over and said, "Okay, you two, stop showing off in front of us. Most people with a family background like you two can live a comfortable life without struggling. If we don't work hard and struggle, I can't even eat." Shen Yu is actually a little disgusted with Shwezeki's high-profile approach, but men like to show off in front of the girls they like, and she can understand it. She was even more dissatisfied with Li Jie being aggressive and uncompromising because of trivial matters. Shwezeki was still their college president, so why should he be so embarrassed in front of the girl he liked? At this time, Shwezeki's face returned to normal, and she showed a gentle and generous smile again, and said, "Minister Shen is right, the 2 juniors have a family background that no one else can envy, and they also have the capital to live freely. But Junior Li, I just misunderstood what I meant. What I said was that I didn't want to rely solely on my family, but I didn't mean that I would cut off financial ties with my family. If I have a girlfriend, I will definitely not let her suffer with me because of my personal persistence. I will definitely give her a happy future." Shwezeki's last words were addressed to Lu Kaiyu. Thanks to book friends, 201701130215268882 for the 500 coin reward, and 4 book friends including Wanyan 6 202001311436246661 202008181501411826 and Tianji Untuzun for their rewards. Also, please vote and collect. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 83. You said before that you don't rely on your family, and now you say that you won't refuse financial assistance from your family. Man, you retort quickly enough. Li Jie couldn't help but want to complain, but thought about it and held it back. After all, this is Lu Kaiyu's birthday party, so don't make it too ugly. Moreover, there was no need for him to care too much about a young man. That's right, in Li Jie's eyes, Shwezeki, who is 23 or 4 years old, is a young man who is not yet mature. Next, the harmonious atmosphere was restored at the dinner table. But the protagonist who led the conversation was no longer Shwezeki, but Cheng Xiang. Cheng Xiang began to talk about his experiences in the capital, the current hot topics, the bird's nest and the 2008 Olympic Games, which immediately attracted the attention of the girls present. The party secretary Chen Mengting was most interested in the topic of the Olympics. She also asked Cheng Xiang if she could buy Olympic tickets. She wanted to go to Beijing to watch the Olympics next summer. Cheng Xiang said that it was no problem, and the other 2 girls also argued. Want to see it too? Regarding this change, Shwezeki did not show any emotion, and kept the smile on her face. While taking care of Lu Kaiyu, she also did not forget to find a topic to chat with Shen Yu to prevent her from feeling left out. Li Jie, on the other hand, became even more silent. Originally, Shen Yu would find topics to chat with him, but now Shen Yu rarely speaks. On the contrary, Lu Kaiyu would occasionally take the initiative to chat with him in order to take care of his emotions. Seeing Shwezuki telling Lu Kaiyu and Shen Yu about the entrepreneurial history of Bill Gates, Cheng Xiang, Shen Menting, and two other girls chatting about interesting things in the capital, Li Jie found this scene quite interesting. After Cheng Xiang said that he had 3 apartments at home, Li Jie noticed that the two girls looked at Cheng Xiang a little strangely, and Shen Menting became more enthusiastic towards him. Of course, it is also possible that Shen Menting is really only interested in the Olympics. Yudao is the ultimate pure natural tea, and the tea is extremely natural and pure. Shen Menting and Li Jie are really a bit confused. This girl plays silly and sweet, and she does not need any acting skills at all. Just show your true qualities. On the other side, although Shwezuki was very chatty, Li Jie could see that Lu Kaiyu and Shen Yu were obviously not very interested in the entrepreneurial history of Bill Gates. To be honest, although Cheng Xiang's looks are a little worse, in terms of conditions, he is really a step ahead of Shwezuki. With his Beijing household registration and 3 houses at home, most ordinary people would not be able to catch up with him after a lifetime of hard work. More than 10 years later, I don't know how many girls from out of town would be rushing to pounce on Cheng Xiang. Li Jie couldn't figure out why Lu Kaiyu fell in love with Shwezuki in the previous life. He could only say that Lu Kaiyu was a beauty control, while Cheng Xiang was ugly and had no human rights. Although Shwezuki's appearance is a bit small, she is really good in terms of appearance and temperament. After finishing the meal and cutting the cake, it was already past 9 p.m. Lu Kaiyu called the waiter to pay the bill, but found that Shwezuki had already settled the bill. How about we go to the KTV to sing again, and the cost is mine, Cheng Xiang suggested. This guy was complimented by 2 girls, and he forgot what he was here for. Shwezuki was the one who beat him to the checkout, and now he thought of making amends. Shen Yu shook her head and said, I won't go. Kaiyu and you guys can go. Shwezuki also said to Lu Kaiyu, Kaiyu, I won't go. I have something to do and will go back to the city tonight. You guys can have fun. Seeing that his competitor was about to leave, Cheng Xiang suddenly got excited and said to Kaiyu, Kaiyu, shall we go then? Lu Kaiyu thought for a while and said, forget it, we have classes tomorrow morning, so it's better not to go. Everyone should go back and rest early. The group of people went downstairs and walked out of the restaurant. Shen Yu, Chen Menting, and the other 2 girls said goodbye and left. Li Jie also said to Lu Kaiyu, Commissioner for Cultural Affairs, I'm leaving too, and prepared to leave. Kaiyu, let me take you back, Shwezuki and Cheng Xiang said this at the same time. Lu Kaiyu looked at Shwezuki, then at Cheng Xiang, and said with a smile, don't send either of you away. Senior brother Shwe, don't you have to drive back to the city? Just go back early. Cheng Xiang, you should also go back to the dormitory to rest early. Bar. After saying that, she looked at Li Jie and said, Li Jie, could you please give me a ride? I have to say, this is a smart move. No matter who Lu Kaiyu chooses, he will make it difficult for the other party to come to power. However, both parties can accept Li Jie because he has a girlfriend and is not a competitor. Li Jie looked at Lu Kaiyu, smiled and said, okay, no problem. Li Jie and Lu Kaiyu walked side by side, and neither of them spoke for a while. But after walking for a while, Li Jie had to remind her, Commissioner of Cultural Affairs, you seem to have gone the wrong way. The distance from the Star Restaurant to Lu Kaiyu's dormitory was only 200 to 300 meters, and it only took 3 to 5 minutes to walk more slowly. Li Jie found that Lu Kaiyu was obviously taking a long detour. Li Jie, don't call me Cultural Committee, just call me Kaiyu. Lu Kaiyu glanced at him and said with a smile. Okay, Kaiyu, Li Jie nodded. Then where are we going now? I don't want to go back to the dormitory yet, Please come with me for a walk. Shouldn't you approach Shwezaki for this kind of thing? Isn't it inappropriate to approach me? The two of them walked to the school's artificial lake, walking on the stone bridge in the lake, enjoying the cool evening breeze and admiring the night view of the lake, which was quite pleasant. Lucaio leaned against the pillars of the stone bridge and asked with a smile, Lija, are you so disgusted with Shwezaki? Why do I dislike him? Does he have anything to do with me? Lija said with a smile. Then what were you doing when you were eating just now? Why, are you sorry for your boyfriend? Sister, you have to understand that it was your boyfriend who pretended to be cool and stepped on me first, so don't blame me for not giving you face and slapping him in the face. Lija, who do you call eldest sister? Lucaio was not happy to hear this and rolled her eyes at him. Then I'll call you beauty head office, Lija changed his words with a smile. Also, Shwezaki is not my boyfriend yet, so don't talk nonsense. It's okay if it's not. What do you mean it's okay? I mean, you just went to college and have too little experience, so you think Shwezaki is very good. In fact, he is really not as good as Cheng Xiang. At least Cheng Xiang's family has money. What about him? He has high hands but low eyesight. Goods one. You girls, don't be in a hurry to fall in love. Read more books to enrich yourself. When you go out into society, you will find that there are excellent boys everywhere. With such good conditions and beauty like yours, you can really choose at will. No one is better than the current Shwezaki. After listening to what Lija said, Lucaio said in a funny way, Lija, I found that you are quite lenient. Whether I want to fall in love and who I fall in love with is all my own business, okay. Who are you to me? What qualifications do you have to take care of me? Who cares about you? I'm just giving you a friendly reminder as a classmate. Whether you like to hear it or not is none of my business. Please vote and collect. In addition, if you don't have investment, you can invest. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 84. Li Zhe said this, but in fact he just didn't like Shwezaki and casually took him down. Another point is that in the common heart of men, even if this good cabbage is not mine, seeing that she is about to be hummed by another pig will make her feel a little unhappy. Humph, a friendly reminder? You reminded me not to be in a hurry to fall in love, but why did you attack your Xiao Qiao so quickly? Are you too double-standard? Lucaio said with a snort. Nonsense, I'm in a hurry to attack Xiao Qiao, of course because I like her. If I like you, I should attack you. Why are you kind enough to remind you? Just like that Shwezaki, who looks gentle on the surface, but is not sure why he covets you. Do you think he is embarrassed? He is a veteran, and he comes to compete with freshmen like us for girls. Lija really didn't have any thoughts about Lucaio, so he said he spoke without any scruples and didn't care what she thought. Lao Bangke, Lucaio couldn't help laughing. Lija, you still said you don't hate Shwezaki? You're so willing to risk your life to hurt others. Are you still laughing? You're not angry when I say that to your boyfriend. I told you, he is not my boyfriend. Lucaio was a little impatient and emphasized again. So, Lija, you don't like me at all. She was a little curious and a little unconvinced. How is it possible? You are so beautiful, how could I not be tempted at all? Lija said and looked Lucaio up and down. Don't say anything else, your legs are enough for me to play with for a year. In Hongcheng in mid to late October, the weather was already a bit cold. Lucaio was very attractive in wearing a pair of denim cut-off shorts, showing off her slender legs. Lucaio was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect that Lija would dare to be so straightforward, and even flirt with her a little obscenely. Lija, I thought you were polite and honest, but I didn't expect you to be so. Lucaio shook her head, her tone seemed a little disappointed. Women don't like men if they're not bad. Lija used to be too serious, so that's why women didn't like him. You're so talkative. Isn't that serious? Li Jie said with a smile. Caillou, I kind of like you, but I already have Xiaoqiao, so I won't care about you anymore. It's just because I have no intentions towards you that I dare to say anything. Lu Caillou stared at him for a while, then suddenly burst into laughter. How come you like me a little bit? Isn't that what you call sexual attraction? That's right, I just got interested, Li Jie said calmly. All love at first sight is based on lust. Frankly speaking, I also fell in love with Xiaoqiao. The reason why I like her so much now is largely because of her beauty. Also, isn't it because Shwezaki is chasing you out of lust? Besides, you are not the same. What's wrong with me? Lu Caillou asked. You don't look down on Cheng Xiang, not because he looks a bit ugly. To be honest, in terms of how much he likes you, Cheng Xiang definitely far surpasses Shwezaki. Believe it or not, if you become his girlfriend, he can let you go and hold you in his heart. In his last life, Li Jie heard that when Cheng Xiang married his girlfriend from college, his family strongly opposed it. Most indigenous families in the capital were not very accepting of foreign daughters-in-law, but Cheng Xiang still married his girlfriend despite the pressure from his family. Li Jie, are you helping Cheng Xiang as a lobbyist? Lu Caillou said with a half smile. I don't care about your business, I just said it casually. Caillou, are you looking for me for something? Li Jie said suddenly. Li Jie would not be narcissistic and think that Lu Caillou liked him, so he dragged him to hang out here all night. Real life is not like novels or TV series. A beautiful woman will fall in love with you the first time she sees you. She doesn't care whether you have a girlfriend or a family. It's all about you. Lu Caillou is also a school belle level beauty, and people who want to pursue her can line up. How could he easily become a third party and meddle in other people's feelings? Li Jie doesn't think he is so charming now. I heard that you started a business and started a company. Are you still looking for part-time students? Lu Caillou left the stone pillar he was leaning on and took 2 casual steps. Li Jie was stunned for a moment and said, Did you hear what Senior Zhang Han said? He only told Zhang Han about this. Yes, Senior Sister told me, Lu Caillou nodded. Since you are looking for someone to work part-time, do you think I can do it? You want a part-time job? Caillou, you shouldn't be short of money, right? Li Jie was a little surprised. Although Lu Caillou's clothes are not all brand name products, they are not bad, and her family should be relatively well off. Why am I not short of money? My monthly living expenses are only 600 to 700. How can I be as wealthy as you? A birthday gift you gave me is enough to cover my monthly living expenses. When you celebrate your birthday, I won't even do you know what to give, Lu Caillou said crying. Gifts are not about high status, but about thoughtfulness. Caillou, if you are really serious, just wait for my birthday and take some private photos of your beautiful legs and give them to me, Li Jie joked. Lu Caillou is both angry and funny. Li Jie, I find that my impression of you has changed a lot. I thought you were shameless before, but I didn't expect it to be more shameless than you thought. Li Jie smiled and said the last sentence for her. Then they both laughed again. Lu Caillou stopped smiling, glanced at Li Jie, and suddenly said, Li Jie, if you really like my legs, I can let you touch them. It's okay. Ahem, Li Jie almost choked. He never expected that Lu Caillou would say such a sentence. Forget it. Caillou, in fact, I regard you as a brother in my heart. How can I take advantage of my brother? Of course Li Jie wanted to touch it in his heart, but he couldn't touch it. It didn't matter if he talked about it, but the nature changed once he got started. Brother? The devil and you are brothers. Lu Caillou immediately became angry upon hearing this. She smiled and raised her leg to kick Li Jie. The environment was a bit dark, and Li Jie didn't notice that Lu Caillou's face was slightly red. Using slapstick to hide her shame, Lu Kaiu didn't understand how she could say such a thing out of nowhere. Fortunately, Li Jie didn't agree. What else would she do? The two bickered for a while and then returned to the topic. Just tell me if I want to work part-time at your place, right? Lu Kaiu asked bluntly. Yes, of course, Li Jie said. Let me explain first, I don't know anything. When I get to your place, I have to learn everything from scratch. It doesn't matter whether you are beautiful or not, it's enough that you are beautiful. You're willing to use me just because I'm pretty, Lu Kaiu said a little dissatisfied. What do you think? What can ordinary freshmen do when they come to my place? I'm recruiting part-time students, not voluntary student aid, Li Jie said bluntly. Thanks to book friend Wanyan 6 for the many rewards, and thanks to Onsen veteran driver and Mr. Haha 1989 for the rewards. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 85. And if you are beautiful, you can at least work as a front desk, customer service, etc. Don't think that vases are ugly. Being beautiful is a stepping stone and an advantage. Can others ask for it? After saying that, Li Jie asked her again, are you going to do it again? Do it? Why not do it? Lu Kaiu said. As you said, being beautiful is my advantage. Besides, although I don't know anything now, I can learn. I will let you see my abilities. She was very confident. Okay, then I'll wait and see, Li Jie nodded and said. However, I want to tell you that the part-time salary is not too high. Plus you only have time to work part-time on the weekends, so you may only get 300 to 400 yuan a month. 300 to 400 yuan is a lot of money. It covers my living expenses for more than half a month. Lu Kaiu did not mind that the money was small. Her main purpose was not to make money, but to exercise her abilities. Since everything is alright, you can, hey, wait a minute, Li Jie unconsciously glanced at the Lanhui Hotel not far away, as if he suddenly discovered something, and walked quickly over there. Hey, Li Jie, what are you going to do? Lu Kaiu asked doubtfully and chased after him. The two of them arrived at the parking lot behind the hotel and saw the headlights of a white car flashing. A young man in a black jacket was tinkering next to the car door. Brother, is this car yours? Li Jie walked to the other party's side. It's my car, what's wrong? The young man stopped and took a defensive look. The new car is pretty good, BMW, isn't it cheap? Li Jie said with a smile. It's okay, what's the matter with you? The young man was obviously a little impatient. Li Jie. Lu Kaiu looked at Li Jie in confusion as he chatted with the other party, not understanding what he wanted to do. Li Jie glanced at her, and then continued to say to the young man, brother, I think there is something wrong with your car. Do you need help? No, it's a small problem. I can solve it myself, so I won't bother you. The young man's attitude was very resistant, even a little bad. There was a problem right after I bought it. The quality of this BMW is not good. It won't leak oil, right? Li Jie said in a playful tone. I told you, hey, what are you doing? Hiss. Just as the young man was mid-sentence, Li Jie suddenly rushed forward and locked the young man's arm. The young man wanted to struggle to resist, but Li Jie took advantage of the situation and used his left leg. He put his knee on the young man's lower back and pushed him to the ground. CNM, please let me go quickly. Damn, it hurts. Brother, please be gentle, Li Jie frowned when he saw that the young man was swearing. He twisted his arm and tightened his grip. Li Jie, why are you hitting someone? Lu Kaiu said anxiously, not knowing why. The young man on the ground also smiled apologetically and said, brother, why are you arresting me? How have I offended you? Why should I hit him? Li Jie said angrily, this kid is a thief. How are you sure he is a thief? Lu Kaiu still didn't believe it. You are stupid. You are sneaking around here at night. How can you be a good person? Also, the car this kid stole was the one I bought yesterday. Don't be stunned, call the police immediately. Li Jie was really shocked and angry at this time. If Lu Kaiyu hadn't dragged him to the artificial lake to enjoy the air, or if he had accidentally caught a glimpse of the flashing car lights, the BMW 530i he bought might have been really bad tonight. He was stolen away by this car thief. It wasn't that he was really short of 600,000 or 700,000, but it would be really frustrating if the new car he just bought was stolen the next day, and even if the car was lost, the car loan would still have to be repaid. Li Jie originally didn't want to be too public, so he parked the car a little out of the way, not wanting to be targeted by thieves so quickly. Thinking about it, he was careless. This remote place in the suburbs is already crowded with people, and the school is an open campus. Anyone can come in. His car is new and has high value, so it is normal for it to be targeted. Knowing that the crime was committed and hit the car owner, the young man also looked unlucky. "Brother, this is my first time offending, please let me go. I really don't dare to do it again." He was still taking chances. "First offender? I think you are a habitual offender. Wait until the police come and plead for mercy. See if they let you go." How could Li Jie believe the other party's lies? After calling the police, the first person to arrive was the security guard from the school security office. As soon as they arrived, they helped Li Jie control the criminal. Lu Kaiyu looked at the BMW 530i and asked, "Li Jie, is this car really yours?" "Yes, I just bought it yesterday. I didn't expect it to be stolen today." Li Jie took out the car key from his pocket and pressed it. He made a buzzing sound and the car lights flashed. "Why did you buy such an expensive car?" "To open a company, you need a good car to support your appearance." More than 10 minutes later, the police arrived. The thief was handcuffed and put into a police car. Li Jie and Lu Kaiyu also went to the police station to record the incident. It took more than 2 hours to record the transcript at the police station. By the time Li Jie and Lu Kaiyu came out of the police station, it was already past 12 o'clock in the morning. "Kaiyu, thank you for tonight." Li Jie glanced at Lu Kaiyu and said. "What are you thanking me for?" Lu Kaiyu said with a smile. "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't go to the artificial lake. My car would really be lost tonight. Listening to what you say, it's all thanks to me. But I think it's more about your luck or the thief's bad luck." At the police station just now, Lu Kaiyu heard from the police that the thief Li Jie caught tonight had a criminal record and was a habitual offender. In addition, although he attempted to steal the car this time, the amount involved was huge, so he would have to be sentenced to at least 1 or 2 years. "It's very late. Get in the car and I'll take you back to your dormitory." Li Jie took out his car key and pressed it on the BMW 530i parked at the door of the police station. Lu Kaiyu took out her mobile phone, looked at the time, and said, "It's already past 12 o'clock. Are the doors closed at this time?" The dormitory management of Hongchen Normal University is both loose and strict. To put it bluntly, the bed check is very lax. For freshmen, there will be a symbolic check on the bed, but for the old students, they basically let it go. Therefore, in the sophomore year, many couples will choose to rent a house and move out. Strictly speaking, the lights in the dormitory building will be turned off at 11 o'clock, the internet will be disconnected, the building will be locked, and the school gate will be closed at 12 o'clock. If you return to school before 12 o'clock, you can still call the door. The dormitory aunt and uncle will open the door for you. But after 12 o'clock, the school gate is closed. If you want to enter the school, you can only choose to climb over the wall. The security guards will not open the door for you. It's okay. This is a special situation. We can ask security to open the door." As he spoke, he walked to the car and opened the passenger door. "Get in the car." Lu Kaiyu said thank you and got into the car. Li Jie also got into the driver's seat, started the car and left the police station. Asking for votes, keep asking for votes. Skrd, 600369020. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 86. Sitting in the passenger seat, Lu Kaiu looked at Li Jie, who was focused on driving, with his strong edges and masculine features, and suddenly realized that he was really handsome. It's a pity that I already have a girlfriend, she couldn't help but said softly. Tonight, Lu Kaiu's impression of Li Jie really changed dramatically. Kaiu, what are you talking about? Li Jie glanced at her while driving. I mean, why don't we go back to school? It's too much trouble. Besides, the dormitory aunt must have fallen asleep by now. It wouldn't be good to wake them up again. How about we go to a small hotel and spend the night? How does it feel when a beautiful girl who is not your girlfriend suddenly wants to open a room with you? Anyway, Li Jie's heart was filled with excitement, surprise, and a hint of joy. Seeing that Li Jie looked at her with a strange look, Lu Kaiu couldn't help but feel a little feverish on her face, and quickly explained, "Don't get me wrong, we are renting 2 separate rooms to live in. Of course I won't misunderstand. I know I'm not that charming to let a beautiful woman like you agree to me." Li Jie smiled and joked to ease the embarrassment. "Okay, let's find a small hotel for the night. Girls don't care, so if he behaves coquettishly, it will hurt their face too much." Li Jie drove past the small south gate of the school and came to the small commercial street. He found a place to park the car, locked the car with the remote control, and locked the door with the key. "You have to be careful this time so your car doesn't get stolen again." Li Jie took Lu Kaiu to the same small hotel where he and Xiao Jiao went last time. When I arrived at the hotel, I found that the female receptionist had fallen asleep. After being woken up by the 2 people, the receptionist had a very bad attitude. "You come to book a room at this late hour, hey, is it you again?" The female receptionist recognized Li Jie. She glanced at Lu Kaiu next to Li Jie, and when she saw that she was not the same girl as last time, she looked at him with even more contempt. "Sister, this is my classmate. We were delayed tonight and couldn't return to school on time, so we came here to stay overnight." Li Jie felt a little uncomfortable when the female receptionist looked at the scumbag and couldn't help it. Still explained. Lu Kaiu also said, "Sister, we are really just classmates. No need to explain, as long as both of you are willing, I don't care what your relationship is," the female receptionist said calmly. "Give us 2 single rooms, preferably next to each other." Li Jie took out 100 yuan from his wallet and handed it over. The female receptionist didn't take the money and said, "There are no more single rooms. There is only 1 double bedroom left. It's the same room you stayed in last time. Do you want it? Is that the one you stayed in last time?" After hearing this, Lu Kaiu couldn't help but glance at Li Jie. "There is only 1 room left. How about Kaiu, you stay in the room and I spend the night in the car?" Li Jie thought for a while and discussed with Lu Kaiu. "But I'm a little scared to live here alone," Lu Kaiu said hesitantly. "It's okay. My car is parked downstairs. If you need anything, just call me and I'll be up right away," Li Jie comforted her. "No, it's better if you live next door. I'm still a little scared downstairs." Lu Kaiu shook her head. I asked, "Do you still want the room?" The female receptionist was a little impatient with the wait. "Kaiu, let's go check out other small hotels." After Li Jie said that, he turned around to leave, but found that Lu Kaiu didn't move. Lu Kaiu's tone was hesitant and her expression was a little unnatural. "Li Jie, how about we share a room and deal with it? It's already 1 o'clock in the morning, and it will be done in 4 or 5 hours. Let's not." "It's a struggle." Li Jie was stunned for a moment, glanced at Lu Kaiu, nodded, and said nothing more. He turned to the female receptionist and said, "Sister, we want the room." When Li Jie led Lu Kaiyu to the room, the female receptionist looked at their backs and muttered in a low voice, "You said they were just classmates." Li Jie took the key and opened the door. After entering the room, both of them felt very embarrassed. "The environment is a bit bad, let's make do with it." Li Jie had been here once before and was quite familiar with this room. "Fortunately, it's better than the dormitory anyway." Lu Kaiyu looked at the room and said. "However, why does this conversation sound familiar?" Li Jie glanced at the big bed and said, "Kaiyu, why don't you sleep on the bed, and I'll stay on the chair for the rest of the night?" Lu Kaiyu pretended not to care and said with a smile, "Li Jie, you don't have to act coy as a boy. I'm not afraid of a girl." "What are you afraid of? Besides, I asked you to accompany me, so how could I be embarrassed to let you, couch? Go to bed quickly, it will be dark if you delay any longer." After saying that, Lu Kaiyu took off his shoes, got on the bed first, and lay down on the side. At this time, what else can Li Jie say? He doesn't really like sleeping on chairs. He also got on the bed and lay on the other side. The two of them lay on the edge of the bed, with a large space between them. "Kaiyu, should I turn off the lights?" Li Jie glanced at Lu Kaiyu and noticed that her face was a little red and her eyes were a little evasive. "Yeah," Lu Kaiyu said softly. The lights went out and the room instantly became dark. In the darkness, the breathing of the two people could be heard clearly. Li Jie turned his head and looked in Lu Kaiyu's direction and found that her back was facing him. A faint smell of perfume came from her body and penetrated into the tip of Li Jie's nose, making him tremble a little. There was a lively and beautiful girl lying next to her. It would be a lie for Li Jie to say that he didn't have any evil thoughts in his heart. He even thought about whether Lu Kaiyu would resist if he pounced on her now, but he just thought about it. There is no guilt for sexual immorality, but there is a judgment for action. The biggest difference between humans and animals is that humans can control their desires. Just when Li Jie was thinking wildly, Lu Kaiyu suddenly said, "Li Jie, are you asleep?" "Fell asleep?" "Lu Kaiyu, why are you still talking when you're asleep?" "I can't sleep, how about we chat for a while?" "What to talk about?" "You and Xiao Qiao have also been to this small hotel." "Came. You also live in this room?" "Right." "Kaiyu, you can't just ask me, should I ask you too?" "Good. Have you ever had a boyfriend before?" "I had one in high school." Lu Kaiyu was silent for a few seconds before saying. Li Jie couldn't help but feel a little complicated when he heard this. But when you think about it, this is too normal. Girls as beautiful as Lu Kaiyu have never had a boyfriend in middle school or high school. They are very rare. He has witnessed a couple who have been in love since elementary school. The boy did not even go to a key junior high school for the girl, but stayed in an ordinary junior high school. The couple started dating from elementary school to high school. Li Jie didn't know about it later because the boy took the exam. He went to the best middle school in their mountain city, while Li Jie went to a private high school, not in the same school. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 87. There are more girls in middle school and high school who are in love, especially beautiful girls, most of whom have had boyfriends. In some novels, the most beautiful women are already in their 20s and 40s when they meet the male protagonist, and they are still a blank slate. They have never had a boyfriend. I can only say that it is ridiculous. Then how far have you developed? Li Jie, isn't the question you ask too personal? If you don't want to say it, that's okay. There's nothing we can't say. The most we can do is hold hands and hug each other, which is considered very pure. Hearing what Lu Kai said, Li Jie felt relieved, but then he thought that he couldn't believe everything the girls said. After all, their mantra was, "I only had one boyfriend before you." Hey, that's not right. Li Jie realized that something was wrong with his mentality. Shouldn't Shuezuki or Cheng Xiang be concerned about this matter? Why was he so concerned? It was enough for him to know that Xiao Qiao had never had a boyfriend before. It's my turn to ask again this time, right? Lu Kaiyu was also ready to ask something private. Tan Hui is your ex-girlfriend. It's not Kaiyu, why are you so nosy? Why am I gossiping? Didn't you ask me just now? I told the truth. No. Have you ever liked her? Yes. Did you come to Hongchen Normal University because of her? Yes. That night, Li Jie asked Lu Kaiyu many questions, and Lu Kaiyu in turn asked him more questions. The two chatted for a long time, asking and answering questions, until Lu Kaiyu stopped talking and Li Jie felt sleepy and fell asleep. He didn't know how long he had slept for, but Li Jie suddenly felt numbness in his arms. When he opened his eyes, he found that Lu Kaiyu had slipped into his arms without knowing it, and she slept soundly with her head on his arm. And his other hand was on her waist. Staring at Chi Kai's pretty face, whose breathing could be heard, Li Jie couldn't help but feel a little moved. What man doesn't like beautiful girls? By coincidence, Lu Kaiyu also opened her eyes at this time, and the two people immediately looked at each other, and the atmosphere was extremely ambiguous. It wasn't until 5 or 6 seconds passed that the two of them pretended to separate as if nothing had happened. Sorry, I was a little dishonest when I slept, Lu Kaiyu said with a generous smile. No, Li Jie also smiled. But he felt a little disappointed in his heart. In fact, at that moment, Li Jie almost kissed her. He was 90% sure that Lu Kaiyu would not resist. He was not a fool, so it was obvious that Lu Kaiyu had an inexplicable liking for him. Yes, inexplicable. Li Jie didn't know why Lu Kaiyu suddenly had a crush on him, but he knew that this was definitely a good opportunity to take advantage of it. Most good feelings arise inexplicably and impulsively, and will quickly fade once they calm down. But Li Jie finally restrained himself and kept saying silently in his heart, "You already have Xiao Qiao. Because so what if I catch you? Will Lu Kaiyu agree to serve the same husband with Xiao Qiao and the two girls? Stop dreaming, this is not a feudal society." Besides, feudal society also had a system of monogamy and multiple concubines. Marrying 2 wives was illegal and would lead to lawsuits. Having 3 wives and 4 concubines was purely fornication. Neither Xiao Qiao nor Lu Kaiyu will tolerate each other. And if Li Jie was asked to choose between 2 girls, he would definitely choose Xiao Qiao. So why did he hurt both girls just because of his impulse? To be honest, Li Jie had just begun to pursue Xiao Qiao, mostly because she was the white moonlight of his previous life, just out of reach, and he had never really thought about continuing with her. After all, as long as you have the ability, who doesn't want to fall in love more times and chase more beautiful girls? When it comes to tearing onions and Canada Woo, everyone complains about them, but no man is envious of them. But Li Jie found that he was really stuck. He couldn't bear it. Xiao Qiao broke up with him and fell into the arms of another man. It is precisely because you have greater desires in your heart that you must restrain the desires in front of you. It's almost 8 o'clock, let's go back to school quickly. Lu Kaiyu looked at the time and said. Okay, Li Jie nodded and said. After going to the front desk and checking out, the two of them left the hotel together and got into the car. Li Jie could clearly feel that compared to the two talking about everything in bed last night, the relationship between him and Lu Kaiyu had become estranged, as if they had become ordinary classmates again, and even a little embarrassed. The BMW 530i stopped near the girls' dormitory. Li Jie smiled and said to Lu Kaiyu, "Kaiyu, just stay here, I won't send you downstairs." Lu Kaiyu said okay, opened the door and got out of the car. Li Jie kept watching Lu Kaiyu go away, then stepped on the accelerator and drove away. The incident that Li Jie's car was almost stolen caused a big fuss. After all, the police car came last night and attracted many passers-by to watch. The news spread immediately. All the teachers and students in the school knew that there was a freshman who bought a BMW for 6 to 7 million yuan, and it was almost stolen. The impact is that in the next period of time, no matter who sees Li Zhe's BMW 530i, they will take a second look, which brings great inconvenience to Li Zhe and Xiao Jiao's in-car date activities. One time, Li Zhe was in the car with Xiao Jiao, and two beautifully dressed girls came over. One girl leaned on the car and asked the other girl to take pictures of her with a camera, and then she turned around and took pictures of the other girl. Girls taking photos. The two girls took pictures for more than 20 minutes. Li Zhe was so annoyed that he wanted to honk the horn, but he still resisted. After all, the two girls were just a little vain, and they didn't do anything wrong. Another impact was that Li Zhe found that a girl took the initiative to strike up a conversation with him, and there were more than one. On the evening of the 24th, Li Zhe came to the football field to run and practice boxing as usual. However, he had just jogged around the field when a girl caught up from behind and ran alongside him. Li Zhe ran for 3 times before stopping, and the girl insisted on running too. One lap of the football field is 800 meters, which means she ran more than 2,000 meters. After stopping, the girl's cheeks were flushed from exhaustion, she was dripping with sweat, and her breathing was a little erratic. "Classmate, do you have something to do with me?" Li Zhe glanced at the girl unexpectedly. He didn't expect that she would really insist on running down. The girl is very beautiful. In terms of appearance, she is not much worse than Xiao Jiao. She is the kind of delicate and majestic beauties with thick faces, a little bit like Nini. She also has a big mouth. She is also 170 centimeters tall and has a well-curved figure. She is in many the man's eyes are definitely more attractive than Xiao Jiao's. After all, Xiao Jiao is more fresh and cute, and her girlish figure is seriously detracted from her points. Please vote, please invest. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 88. The biggest characteristic of Xiao Jiao is that she has a very pretty smile, she loves to laugh, and she has so many little expressions. To sum it up in one sentence, this girl looks very beautiful, and her smile is even more amazing. Super pure and super healing. Just this, Li Zhe was eaten to death. "Why can't we get to know each other if nothing happens?" the girl breathed steadily and smiled brightly. "My name is Wu Yuni. I am a sophomore in the Department of Economics and Management. I can be considered your senior." Wu Yuni smiled and stretched out her hand to him. Li Zhe shook hands with the other party lightly and said, "Senior, do you know me?" "Of course, you are a celebrity in our school. Also, don't call me senior sister, just call me Yani." Li Zhe saw Wu Yuni's little thoughts clearly. Who said that girls in college are not materialistic? It's just that compared to girls who have entered society, they are not so materialistic. After entering the society and chasing girls, everything is really focused on money. House, car, money. A freshman was willing to spend 600,000 to 700,000 yuan to buy a BMW, which led many people to speculate that Li Zhe's family had assets of at least tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even hundreds of millions. In this era, if a family has assets of 100 million, it is definitely considered a wealthy person. Isn't there such a saying? Enter the 100 million yuan club. What girl doesn't want to find a rich boyfriend? Don't you want to have no worries about food and clothing in the future, go wherever you want, and buy whatever you want? Otherwise, the story of Cinderella and the overbearing president would not be so popular. And with a second-generation rich man with a net worth of hundreds of millions right next to him, which vain and money-worshipping girl can withstand such a test? Therefore, it is normal for girls to pounce on Li Zhe. In fact, I don't know how many girls are jealous of Xiao Jiao, and their eyes are red with jealousy. In fact, Even the attitudes of several roommates, classmates, and teachers towards Li Jie have changed. Originally, Wang Zhaiheng had some intention of competing with Li Jie, but now he has no intention of competing with him. If you are only a little better than your friend in terms of material conditions, he may be mentally unbalanced and even jealous. But if you are too much better than him and the two of you are not at the same level, then he will not be jealous. Instead, they will respect you and please you. As a saying goes, a beggar will not be jealous that Jack Ma or Richard Liu are rich, but he will be jealous that the beggars around him are richer than him. This is human nature. Yu Yang, the head teacher who had always ignored Li Jie, also specially asked him to go to the office and chatted with him for a while. Li Jie was flattered by his good attitude. Yu Yang also said that Li Jie can come to him if he needs anything, and there is no need to be polite to him. The face-changing skill was so powerful that Li Jie couldn't help but secretly sigh that it was a pity that the other party did not go to officialdom. It can only be said that money can really change people's destiny. Is there any difference between Li Jie now and him in the previous life? The biggest difference is that he has more than 10 million yuan extra on his body, and he also has the identity of a fake second-generation rich man. After chatting with Wu Yuni for a while, Li Jie found a reason to get rid of her and returned to the dormitory early. He could even restrain himself from provoking Lu Kaiyu, so how could he fall in love with Wu Yuni, who was all about his money? So what if she's a pretty girl? For rich people, the most indispensable thing is beautiful girls. And Li Jie can barely be considered a rich man now. Back in the dormitory, Li Jie found that no one else was there. Only He Zhigang was sitting in front of his computer, not knowing what he was reading, very immersed in it. "Brother Gang, are you the only one in the dormitory?" "Ah. Jizi, are you back?" He Zhigang suddenly stood up from his chair, his expression unnatural. Seeing He Zhigang's overreaction, Li Jie was a little surprised and asked, "Why are you so nervous? Are you watching a movie?" "No, I didn't see anything." He Zhigang turned his back and blocked the computer screen. Seeing this, Li Jie became even more curious. "What are you looking at? Let me have a look too. I really didn't see much." "It's okay. Watching movies isn't something to be ashamed of." The two argued for a while, but He Zhigang didn't notice, but Li Jie saw the computer screen. He Zhigang really didn't watch the movie, because he didn't even open the browser, let alone the player, and there was only dynamic wallpaper on the screen. And what is the dynamic wallpaper on Li Jie's computer? It's a video from Xiao Qiao's boyfriend's perspective. Li Jie's expression suddenly became weird. "I regard you as a brother, but you actually miss my girlfriend." He Zhigang's face turned red and he looked a little shy. "Jizi, don't think too much. I really don't have any thoughts about Xiao Qiao. I just think this video is quite interesting, so I just want to watch it a few times. Jizi, believe me, He Zhigang, really don't care about that kind of thing." Li Jie glanced at the embarrassed He Zhigang and said, "Okay, don't explain. I believe you really have no idea about Xiao Qiao." Li Jie did feel a little uncomfortable just now, but after thinking about it, he could barely understand it. Xiao Qiao was originally the straight man type, so it was only natural that He Zhigang would have a crush on her. He also believed that He Zhigang only wanted to think about it and would not actually do anything. You can't let people not even think about it, right? "Jizi, thank you for trusting me." Seeing that Li Jiejin didn't care, He Zhigang was visibly relieved. "Actually, I am self-aware and know that I am not qualified to have a girl like Xiao Qiao." "Brother Gang, don't you like Chen Mengting? Why do you like Xiao Qiao again?" "Of course I like Chen Mengting, but she doesn't like me." Li Jie immediately understood that this was fraternity. "Brother Gang, I didn't expect you to be quite boring." He Zhigang glanced at him and said, "Jizi, don't talk about me either. I don't believe you, Lu Kaiyu, don't have any ideas. What do I think of her? You two were flirting in the classroom that day. What do you mean by flirting? I just admire Lu Kaiu. Ha, just appreciation. Jazzy, if someone says they like you now and want to be your girlfriend, will you agree? No, I have Xiao Jiao. When he said this, Li Jie thought of the ambiguous night with Lu Kaiu. Brother Gang, what about you? What if Lu Kaiu says he likes you? I would like to, but how can people like me? He's Higang sighed. To be honest, Jazzy, if you didn't have Xiao Jiao, I would really support you to chase Lu Kaiu and let the meat rot in our own pot. Lu Kaiu is the most beautiful person in our class, and even in the entire major. I'm really frustrated that outsiders chase her away. I heard that there is an old guy from Yanyi who is chasing Lu Kaiu. He is so shameless that he comes to compete with us freshmen for girls when he has no ability to chase her. Li Jie smiled and did not answer, but He's Higang asked for a cigarette, lit it and took a deep breath. He's Higang also lit a cigarette and started smoking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 89. After discussion, the social time for the 4 dormitories was set at 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday the 26th. The activities are eating and singing karaoke. As for who would pay for the party expenses, Wang Haiheng originally suggested that he and Li Jie should pay for it. After all, they were the 2 most powerful. However, He's Higang disagreed, saying that he could not take advantage of his buddies and that everyone should share it equally. The final decision was that everyone would share the money for the meal equally, and Li Jie and Wang Haiheng would pay for the karaoke. Although it is shared equally among 5 people, there are many people participating in the party, so everyone has to pay 200 yuan as a base. Li Jie originally thought that Yang Hao would be reluctant to part with the money, but it turned out that he still underestimated how much this guy cared about girls. Yang Hao, who had always been stingy, was extremely happy when he took out the 200 yuan. On the night of the social gathering, the 5 boys in the dormitory split up. He's Higang and Yang Hao first went to a restaurant booked off campus to make preparations. Li Jie drove to pick up Xiao Qiao and the girls in their dormitory. Wang Haiheng went to pick up He Lu and the girls in their dormitory. Lin Jing went to pick up his girlfriend Chen Wenjing and their dormitory. People. Li Jie's BMW 530i stopped in front of the 4th floor of the school, got out of the car and leaned on the car, and waited. From time to time, boys and girls coming and going would take a look or two. After waiting for 5 or 6 minutes, Xiao Qiao walked out of the dormitory building together with Bai Wei, Zhang Kaiyan, and Zhang Yu. Xiao Qiao is dressed very cutely. She wears a large white sweater on the upper body and a pink pleated skirt on the lower body. Her hair is tied into 2 ponytails. She is pure and smart, and looks like a high school student. After seeing Li Jie standing next to the car, she walked quickly and came to his side. Li Jie smiled and stretched out his hand to hug her. I told you to stop showing off your affection in front of us. Zhang Kaiyan came over and said with a smile. Li Jie looked at the 3 girls, Bai Wei, Zhang Kaiyan, and Zhang Yu. Zhang Kaiyan was wearing a jacket and trousers, with neat short hair, and was dressed like a tomboy. Zhang Yu dressed up very carefully, wearing a pink waist-length skirt, high heels, and exquisite makeup. However, it's the end of October, is it really not cold to wear this at night? What made Li Jie take a second look was Bai Wei. She was tall, wearing a white chiffon dress and a denim jacket on her shoulders. With her graceful figure and delicate face, she looked like a beauty wherever she stood. Beautiful scenery. Noticing Li Jie's gaze, Xiao Qiao smiled and said, "How about it, isn't our sister Wei very beautiful?" Li Jie nodded. It had to be said that with a height of over 1.7 meters and a good figure, Bai Wei was really a natural dresser. Husband, if you know a good boy, please introduce him to our sister Wei. I do know some boys, but it's hard to find someone who is suitable for Bai Wei. Bai Wei smiled and said, Xiao Qiao gave me this skirt. She originally didn't want to wear this skirt, but Xiao Qiao insisted on her wearing it. At this time, Zhang Yu interjected, De Keze, can you bring outsiders to this party? I have a friend who also wants to come. Li Jie glanced at her and asked, is your friend a boy or a girl? Boys. No. Why? What do you think? After saying that, Li Jie opened the car door and said, okay, please get in the car, beauties. Xiao Qiao naturally got into the passenger seat, and three girls, Bai Wei, Zhang Qian, and Zhang Yu, sat in the back seat. Li Jie drove to the restaurant reserved outside the school. After parking the car, he led a few girls in to the restaurant. When they arrived at the box, they found that there were only two people, He's Higang and Yang Hao. No one else had arrived yet. Li Jie introduced them and a few girls to each other. Facing beautiful girls like Bai Wei and Zhang Yu, He's Higang acted a little reserved. On the contrary, the shameless Yang Hao was very familiar with them. He was very enthusiastic towards everyone, and even called Xiao Qiao his sister-in-law. As soon as they sat down, Wang's Haiheng arrived with He Lu and the girls from their dormitory. A total of 3 girls came to He Lu and his dormitory. In addition to He Lu, the other 2 girls were named Huo Menjian and Xiunana. Huo Menjian is tall, quiet, and delicate, with a good-looking appearance, which makes her a beauty. And Xiunana is very ordinary, not tall, with average appearance, only her skin is fair. Li Jie, He's Higang and the other boys quickly asked the 3 girls to sit down. Li Jie took a look at He Lu. She had big breasts, big hips, a slightly chubby figure, a mature woman's taste, and good looks. In the eyes of many men, she was definitely a good arrogance. No wonder Wang's Haiheng always brags about it in the dormitory. However, Li Jie shook his head slightly in his heart. He couldn't appreciate this type of young woman. Her waist was too thick, her frame was a bit bigger, and she even looked a bit strong. As a man, his aesthetics is very specific and he always likes young, beautiful, sweet, and cute people. Lin Jing and his party were the last to arrive. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Zhang Yu and He Lu became a little impatient. Lin Jing then walked into the box with a few girls. The eyes of everyone in the box immediately fell on Lin Jing and a few girls. The first thing Li Jie noticed was not Tan Hui, but another tall, beautiful girl wearing denim leggings and a white sweater. His first reaction was that this girl was too white and too beautiful. This girl is about 168 or 169 tall. She still wears flat shoes. She has an extremely good figure. She has long legs, a thin waist, and a curvy butt. She has a good figure. A pair of denim tights outlines her perfect figure very well. Come out. Her skin is in extremely good condition, fair and delicate, smooth and tender. People say that her skin is as tender as milk, and that's probably what they're talking about. Xiao Qiao's skin is also very good, fair and delicate, but compared with this girl, it is still a little inferior. The most attractive thing is that she is pure yet sexy, revealing a hint of charm, but it is not just ordinary charm, it is a kind of charm that comes from the bones. It is natural, charming but not gaudy, and pure and lustful. This is clearly reflected in her. Li Jie's eyes stayed on the girl for 5 or 6 seconds. This was the first time that he was completely attracted by a girl's appearance. Li Jie was a little surprised. He should not have had any impression of such a beautiful girl in his previous life. But thinking about it carefully, it seems that in his last life, he accidentally saw a very beautiful girl in school, but after so many years, he can't remember the girl in front of him. It can only be said that he was too autistic in school in his last life, and this girl was too low-key. In fact, not only Li Jie was attracted to the girl, but everyone in the box was amazed by the girl. Wang's Haiheng and He's Higang's eyes were a bit straight, and Yang Hao's eyes were gleaming. Lin Jing introduced with a smile, "This is my girlfriend Chen Wenjing, this is Huo Lily, this is Zhou Ziyu, and this is Tan Hui. Zhou Ziyu is the most beautiful girl. Thanks to Wanyan 6 for the many tips. Asking for votes, asking for investment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn." Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 90. Li Jie, you and Ziyawai are still high school classmates, right? Lin Jing asked knowingly and made a remark. Zhou Ziyu Li Jie recited the name in his mind before looking at Tan Hui. Tan Hui wore a ponytail, white cropped pants, and a women's blue jacket, dressed casually. Ziyawai, long time no see. Li Jie's attitude was calm yet enthusiastic, as if he was facing an ordinary female classmate with whom he was fairly familiar. Li Jie was a little surprised to see Tan Huijin coming, but then he didn't care. Tan Hui is really a thing of the past to him. To be honest, Li Jie even looks down on Tan Hui now. When I was in high school, I didn't know much. Maybe I fell in love with a girl because she had a good personality, gentleness, and was good at studying. But after many years, I looked back and saw that the goddess I once had was just a girl. Ordinary girls. Many people miss their first love, and most of them just miss the beautiful impression that first love left on them. Because flowers bloom again and people are no longer young, we can never go back to that young and ignorant high school period, and we can never see the girl of the same age who made your heart beat. Just like many people miss the snacks they had when they were children, but if you buy them again and try them, you will find that the taste is actually very average, not at all the same as when you were a child. Although Tan Hui is not bad looking, in terms of appearance, she is still inferior to Xiao Qiao, Shen Xinyi, Lu Kaiyu, and others. That is to say, she is better than her neighbor, gentle, and at most she is a class star. Don't say that Li Jie looks at people with sex. As long as any man is capable, who doesn't want to find a more beautiful girlfriend? What's more, Li Jie has no feelings for Tan Hui in the first place. Tan Hui glanced at Li Jie and smiled gently. "Li Jie, long time no see. You have changed a lot. Actually, it's no different than before." Li Jie set his eyes on Tan Hui's ponytail and said with a smile, "I remember when I was in high school, I liked to pull your pigtails and sometimes mess up your hair on purpose, but you never seemed to be angry." Hearing this, Tan Hui was obviously stunned for a moment, and said a little surprised, "Li Jie, do you still remember this?" "How could I not remember? We have only left high school for a few months," Li Jie said with a smile. For Tan Hui, it was true that she had only left high school a few months ago, but for Li Jie, her high school days were already more than 10 years ago, but he always remembered this incident. Ahem, He's Higang couldn't help coughing twice, and said with a smile, "Since everyone is here, let's take a seat and order food." After saying that, he glanced at Li Jie, as if to say, "Is it really okay for you to blatantly reminisce about your old relationship with Tan Hui in front of Xiao Qiao?" The expressions of everyone present were a bit subtle, except for the words that these two people must have a story written on their faces. Only Xiao Qiao always had a smile on his face, as if he really didn't care at all. Of course Li Jie noticed the changes in the expressions of the people present, but he didn't care. He didn't mean to talk about old things to make everyone misunderstand, but since Tan Hui is here, the two of them should be completely settled. After everyone sat down, Wang's Haihang called the waiter and started ordering. He first asked He-Lu what she liked to eat, took the menu and ordered 2 dishes, then handed the menu out and asked everyone to order 1 or 2 of their favorite dishes. When it was Li Jie's turn, he took the menu and asked Xiao Qiao next to him what he wanted to eat. Xiao Qiao thought for a while and said with a smile, "I don't have anything in particular that I want to eat, so why don't you just take a look?" Li Jie then ordered 2 dishes at random, braised prawns in oil and crucian carp in dry pot, and then said to Xiao Qiao, "If you don't want something too greasy, just eat shrimp and fish. By the way, the name of the dish is braised prawns in oil, but the prawns are not prawns, but lobsters. Jang Kyung smiled and joked, "Li Jie, your boyfriend is so considerate. We singles are envious of him." Li Jie glanced at Jang Kyung. Xiao Jiao was a really good roommate. He said this because he was helping her find a place to show off to Tan Hui. If you are envious, find a boyfriend as soon as possible. Then someone will be considerate of you. You see, Wang Haiheng and Lin Jing are not equally considerate to their girlfriends. I have to say that although Wang Haiheng is a little jealous and carefree, he is indeed considerate and graceful in front of girls. After ordering the food and choosing drinks, He's Higang suggested that the boys drink beer and the girls drink. But Zhang Yu and He Lu refused to do it. They laughed and said that they could not treat girls who looked down on them differently, but they also had to drink beer. After final discussion, it was decided that He's Higang, Wang Haiheng, Lin Jing, Yang Hao, Zhang Yu, and He Lu would drink beer, while Li Jie and the remaining girls would all drink drinks. Why does Li Jie drink with girls? Because he still has to drive and cannot drink. After the waiter left with the menu, the table was a little quiet for a while. The people in the 4 dormitories were not familiar with each other and didn't know what topics to talk about. Seeing this, Wang Haiheng took the initiative to liven up the atmosphere and said with a smile, "Besides Lulu, Xiaojiao and Wenjing, among the beauties present, who else is single without a boyfriend?" The girls at the table looked at each other, and He Lu said first, "Neither Menjian nor Nana have boyfriends." Xiaojiao then said, "We, Sister Wei and Xiao Kyung, don't have boyfriends either." Hearing that Zhang Yu quit, "Xiaojiao, I don't have a boyfriend either, okay. Why did you pull me down?" "You don't have a boyfriend," Zhang Kyung said to her, "then who is that boy who often comes to see you?" "Just friends. Do you have any questions?" Zhang Yu refused to be outdone. Xiaojiao smoothed things over and said, "Okay, you two, please stop making trouble." "And Xiao, our Xiao doesn't have a boyfriend either." Finally, Chen Wenjing said, "We Lily, Tsuyu, and Xiao don't have boyfriends either." Wang Haiheng continued with a smile, "Then please consider our 8 beauties who don't have boyfriends yet. We, brother gang, are men of Ludong. They are kind-hearted, generous, righteous, and especially responsible and committed. We will treat women in the future friends are absolutely indistinguishable." He's Higang was a little embarrassed by Wang Haiheng's bragging, and he quickly said, "Hengzi, thank you, but I'm actually not as good as he said while looking at all the 8 girls who didn't have boyfriends present." He didn't dare to look at Bai Wei and Zhou who were so beautiful. He focused on the 2 girls Zhang Yu and Huo Menjian. "Brother Wang, you are unjust. Why are you just making arrangements for brother gang and forgetting about me?" Yang Hao shouted dissatisfied. After that, he smiled and said to the girls, 8 single beauties, you can also consider me. You may not think that I am a little fat, but I have a soft, delicate, kind, and warm heart. Thanks to Wanyan 6 for his many rewards, to book friend 201703032014111903 for his 1200 coin reward, to Zhang He and Su Qing, Theory of Celestial Movements, and book friend 2021022400115705 for their rewards. Thank you for your support.